Hey there everybody, welcome to another episode of Bert's Bike. And today I'm with the Southern Distance Moto. He is lending me his DR650.
Bro, DR6 is 400 cc's. It's a DR650.
My bad, DR650. Alright, here we go. DR650. Mark keeps telling me all about this bike and how amazing it is. And it looks super cool with all the mods on it. Luggage systems, boot guards, big old tank, bars. This is the DR to have. That headlight looks super cool. Wow. All right, let's do this. All right. Woo. Oh, it's tall. It might be slightly taller than my Tenere, actually. I feel very on the bike. All right. Ooh. Good old carburetor. It's an interesting switch. I've never seen anything like that before. Kind of a push-in kill switch there versus a rocker. Oh man, this bike feels very comfy. Ooh, sounds great too. This is going to be a fun ride. Alright. I'm actually following my Jeep. Alright. Woo! Alright, right away I really feel like I'm sitting on this bike. I mean, I just feel like I'm propped up high. Woo! Standing is a breeze on this thing. I can see why so many people rave about this DR650. Not DRZ. Sorry, that is a sore spot for a lot of DR riders. Now it definitely feels like I'm riding like an older bike, an older design bike. And just for contrast, my sort of dual sport slash adventure bike that I have at home is a Tenere 700. And that bike is a bike I've been wanting for a long time, and the more I ride that bike, the better it feels. But I gotta say, this is just maybe feels kind of not as cumbersome as the Tenere, but more engaging and sort of more capable. Like you can just flick it around a little easier, probably. I think it's really cool. It sounds amazing. I'm also loving this analog speedometer. I love it being low tech. I love bikes that are just low tech. Ooh. Alright. Can't be afraid to give it some beans. It does sound really cool. Now I'm noticing that this is so... the suspension is so good. I mean, did he do anything? I feel like the suspension is very squishy and sort of compliant. It feels very supple. Alright, so my legs are kind of at this, not quite a 90 degree, but tucked back just a little bit. And if you ride on the balls of your feet, sort of reminds me of like how a standard Honda would be, I guess. Like the bike that comes to mind that I owned was the CB500X. Was my first kind of adventure-ish bike, and it feels like the pegs are similar to this. The brake pedal actually feels very similar to my Tenere. There's a lot of play and throw with the brake pedal before something happens, so it's just gotta be something you get used to. But I do love how agricultural this bike feels. How, you know, the way it sounds and everything. Now I do feel like the front end is very dancey on this, and that could be a suspension setup thing, or it could be, I don't know, maybe the tires on this or something. I can really feel the tread on the tires. These old bikes, and specifically old tech bikes, old isn't fair, but maybe more simplified technology in motorcycles, you really do feel kind of in tune with the machine, and you can really feel what's going on with the bike. And I look at that as a super positive thing. Wow, this exhaust does sound really good though. Deep, resonant, dirt bikey type sound. I'm digging it. I take back what I said. It is a little lower than the Tenere. Probably not, maybe not on paper, I guess, or after the mods, but it's a very squishy suspension here. One thing I find really good too is the, I think the lack of EFI and the lack of computer intervention. You know, with the throttle particularly, you're on a cable throttle, but you are really feeling the clutch engagement a lot more. Like, you're really feeling where that clutch grabs. Feathering in and out is really cool. I'd say the only thing for me is, yeah, this bike does feel a little twitchy as far as the front end goes. Again, that could be like a straight up suspension thing. Yeah, I mean, I can see why Mark loves this bike so much. It's a really engaging, capable ride. Obviously, I'm not going off-road on this thing, but it does feel really good. Also, I have to add that it feels like you're going a lot faster than what you are, actually. When I look down at the speedometer, I'm only going 60 miles an hour, and it feels about 10-15 miles an hour faster than this is telling me. So, you know, usually bikes like that, you know, you feel a little bit more engaged with the machine. That decel sound is really nice too. Woo! Very cool. Nice. Yeah, this is super easy to maneuver. Oh, still got my signal lights on. Whoops. You know, one thing I do love about this over my Tenere, and I'm just going to say it out loud now, is the lack of the dash section. And I know that's a big reason why people buy a bike like the Tenere, but I'm going to have to figure out something on my Tenere where I totally eliminate that, because, you know, just having this wide open field of view, like when you're sitting up straight on the bike, on this DR, you're sitting really on top of the motorcycle, and so when you're looking out, all I can see are the tops of these mirrors. So even to use them, I gotta kind of glance down a little bit. Wow. Suzuki, alright. The only other Suzuki I've ridden was the SV650. And yeah, that was a really fun bike. Honestly, that bike is so good, the SV650, that if you're mainly a street rider and you're looking for something to kind of, you know, upgrade from your first bike too, that bike is just an incredible bike. But anyway, back to this bike. Easy to grip with your legs. I mean, I feel really planted at standing position with this. I mean, does the bike feel like it's got a ton of power? I guess maybe for an off-road bike it does, but as far as a street bike, it just feels, you know, pretty adequate for most things you're gonna need. Didn't really get to take it on the highway, but I'm sure there's enough there for the highway. And I'm going 60 right now. Feels like there's a lot more going on with it, so it feels really good. What I really love about this bike, I think more than anything for a road bike, is sort of the commanding stance you're in. Just wide open field of view, aware of your surroundings, easy to figure out what's going on around you. Your spatial awareness is just really heightened on this bike. Also, what I love about adventure bikes, kind of dual sports and these type of bikes, is the fact that, you know, you're sitting kind of above the eye line of traffic. So that's my Jeep right there that the Southern Distance is riding, and I'm at his head level, so he's gonna see me when he looks out his rear view mirror when I'm, you know, stopped behind him at a light or something, and I can make eye contact with him. A lot of times with cruisers and stuff like that, you are sitting below the eye line of traffic. Also, just thanks to Mark again for letting me take this out on a test ride. I know that lending bikes out, sometimes with riders, you get really worried about things that are going to happen with the bike and everything. So thanks so much, Mark. If you haven't seen his channel already, check it out. It's the Southern Distance Moto, and I'll put a link to that right here. Check him out, give him a like, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. All right, let's accelerate. Yeah, you got to get on it. Yeah, you really got to get on it if you want power on this bike. Yeah, baby. It's a fun bike, man. Gotta admit, I love the sound of it. Usually not a big fan of sort of like dirt bike sounds, you know, that sort of high mid-rangey sort of pop. But this is really nice when you're on the bike. It's really letting you know what the engine's doing. Man, it's just a beautiful day. Oh. Woo! I mean, it feels like I'm just gunning it, and I look down and I'm going maybe 60, 65. I could ride this thing all day. Also, if you've been following the channel, you know that most of my reviews, my full reviews on bikes, are bikes I've actually owned. And I would say that if you have a nice road bike that you love, you know, nice cruiser, nice standard bike that you're loving, if you're looking for a second bike, it's good to diversify a little bit and buy something that's a little bit more capable or does a different thing than your road bike. Because, you know, if you buy too many bikes that for the same thing, you're just gonna feel like in owning multiple bikes, you're just gonna feel like there's a big redundancy in your garage. That's just the way I feel. For example, if I had two cafe racers in my garage, it's just kind of a lot of overlap doing the same kind of job. And there's not one perfect bike out there. They each do something a little bit better or worse than the last bike you're ever gonna have. I think if you're gonna own multiple bikes, the DR650, I think, is a really good option for a second bike to also get you out of your comfort zone of riding on the street, get you off the road, capable to take you through some roads that you would not go down in your nice cafe racer or Harley cruiser, and also something that you're not going to be too worried about if you drop. You know, these things, they're meant to take hits, they're meant to kind of be abused and everything like that. And so, you know, the reliability, from what I've heard, is amazing on this. So it really gives, it's really making a strong point for another bike. But on the flip side of things, if this were your only bike and you use this for commuting, running errands, going to the grocery store, it'll definitely fill those roles. So yeah, I think this is a pretty sweet dual sport. I mean, there's a reason why Suzuki still makes this bike and why so many riders still give up bigger bikes for the DR650. There's a channel that I follow, Swanky Cat, and he actually had a Tenere 700 and sold it to his dad and ended up buying a DR650 because he's getting into more technical trails and everything like that. So it is still kind of a top dual sport here in 2025, surprisingly. I think a lot of manufacturers need to go back to their roots and just put out bare bones, reliable, well-built motorcycles. I think more people would be happier for a longer amount of time with their bikes. Also, the way Mark has this set up too, with the double take mirrors, these handguards, the bigger tank, oh my gosh, it's just kind of ready to go. Okay, no gears left. Just full throttle. Yeah, it'll definitely get up there, but you're gonna have to drop down a gear and all that stuff to get convincing highway speeds and all that stuff. Definitely do it though. Or it feels like it will anyway. Alright, let's hop off the bike and kind of give it one more look around. Let's do a little U-turn and kind of test out how easy it is to maneuver. I have a feeling it's going to be a piece of cake. First gear. Alright, leaning in. I feel like when I U-turn this bike, I'm having to counter a little bit. Yeah, not really lean into it, but counterweight, I should say. But yeah, super easy. Woo! This is great. Oh, TW200. Wow, that's a cool looking bike too. That's a beefy kickstand. Alright guys, that was awesome. Pipe sounds amazing. Bike feels great. I really enjoyed that. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below if you haven't already. It's Bert's Bike, and I'll catch you on the next one.